Michael Popok, Legal AF. We got breaking news. Jack Smith has obtained thousands of pages of Bernie Kerik, the disgraced former police commissioner in New York, his private notes, research memos, and everything else while he worked for Rudy Giuliani doing fraud investigation of the big lie on behalf of Donald Trump. Jack Smith got it, but it was a civil case that led Jack Smith to get it. Once again, civil cases, non-criminal cases brought against people like Rudy Giuliani paying dividends to Jack Smith as a byproduct. I reported on a hot take just a few weeks ago that in the Shea Moss and Ruby Freeman defamation case brought by two election workers in Fulton County, Georgia, for defamation against Rudy Giuliani because he said on national TV more than one time that they were committing voter fraud when all they were doing was properly counting and tabulating the votes in Georgia and doing their job as election officials, lowly paid ones at that. They've got a defamation case against Rudy Giuliani, and Rudy Giuliani has stepped in the bucket time and time again. In that case, he's gotten fined almost $100,000 by the federal judge for failing to preserve his documents, failing to produce his documents, failing to properly sit for a deposition, and everything else. 3 weeks ago, we saw a chart that Rudy Giuliani prepared in which he listed all of these documents, text messages and emails that he tried to claim privilege over, and listed on there, text messages and emails with Bernie Kerik, among other people. There was 5 or 6 other people that were listed there. We are sure that Jack Smith got a copy of that filing and said, that's interesting because we don't have those text messages and emails and correspondence between Rudy Giuliani and Bernie Kerik. And why does it matter to the greater scheme of things? It matters because the Department of Justice is trying to get inside the head, not for too long, hopefully, of Donald Trump to establish criminal mind, criminal intent, willful criminality, that he made these decisions to bury his head in the sand, despite getting data points from all different sources within his inner sanctum. Bernie Kerik telling him, Rudy Giuliani telling him, Mark Meadows telling him, outside consultants telling him that there was no fraud sufficient to overcome the results of the election and that he had lost. This is another shoe. I mean, this is like the 9th shoe to drop against Donald Trump. But Bernie Kerik, former police commissioner, disgraced, went to jail for tax fraud, granted clemency by Donald Trump, and then joined the election deniers bandwagon, served as an investigator because he's not a lawyer for Rudy Giuliani, captain of Team Crazy, going after all of these, filing 70 lawsuits around America, trying to overturn the election. That was Kerik's role. Kerik refused to turn over this very same set of notes, 2,000 pages of them, to the Jan 6 committee claiming privilege. He was staring down the barrel in the civil case, the Shea Moss and Ruby Freeman defamation case in the District of Columbia, presided over by the former Chief Judge Beryl Howell, who already fined Rudy Giuliani for playing games with Discovery. She was about to do the same thing with Bernie Kerik, telling him, you better produce your documents. I don't know what you're talking about privilege. So to fix the problem and kill 2 birds with 1 stone, who came to the rescue? Tim Parlatore. You might remember that Tim Parlatore used to be the lead lawyer for Donald Trump in Mar-a-Lago matters, until he noisily departed in May, telling CNN and others that he had to leave because he was stopped from doing his job by the interference of people around Donald Trump like Boris Epstein, and he couldn't properly search locations like Bedminster and other places, and he was departing the case. But he's, Tim Parlatore has a bunch of other Jan 6 election denier type clients, including Bernie Kerik. So who better than Tim Parlatore, who used to be Donald Trump's lawyer? Are you following? Picking up the phone and calling the current Donald Trump's lawyers who are representing the Trump campaign to assert the privilege. I assume that's some combination now of Todd Blanche and Chris Keiss, among others, and saying, hey, my guy, Bernie Kerik, is about to get his head handed to him in the civil defamation case if he doesn't produce the documents there. And Jack Smith wants the same document. So he Parlatore brokered a deal that gave birth to this resolution. Your pet's a member of the family. My Lily certainly is. Don't feed them like they're in the doghouse. Give them Nom Nom. Nom Nom delivers fresh dog food with every portion personalized to your dog's needs, so you can bring out their best. Nom Nom's made with real whole food you can see and recognize, without any additives or fillers that contribute to bloating and low energy. That's because Nom Nom uses the latest science and insights to make real good food for your dogs. Their nutrient-packed recipes are crafted by board-certified veterinary nutritionists, made fresh and shipped free to your door. Nom Nom's already delivered over 40 million meals to good dogs like yours, inspiring millions of clean bowls and tail wags. I love my dog so much and feel better giving her better nutrition. And my dog loves the food and other benefits they've seen. Plus, Nom Nom comes with a money-back guarantee. If your dog's tail isn't wagging within 30 days, Nom Nom will refund your first order. No fillers, no nonsense, just Nom Nom. Go right now for 50% off your no-risk 2-week trial at trynom.com/legalaf. Spelled try, NOM.com/legalaf for 50% off. Trynom.com/legalaf. 1. The parties in the defamation case entered a stipulation. It was filed, a joint stipulation filed today, informing the court that they've reached a tentative deal. That Bernie Kerik will turn over and has turned over 2,000 pages or so of documents. The Trump campaign, very interesting that it's the Trump campaign and not Donald Trump himself. The Trump campaign, is dropping the privilege, because I guess the Trump campaign technically hired but didn't pay Rudy Giuliani for all of his Team Crazy work. All right, let's go with that for the purposes of this hot take. So they informed the court, Judge Beryl Howell, we have a deal. He's going to produce documents, and he started Sunday night, Kerik to Shay Moss and Ruby Freeman's side. We're going to review them. If it's incomplete, we're going to tell you, Judge. If he's going to give us a new privilege log, which is a list of documents that somehow he's still claiming privilege over, we'll bring them to your attention. We'll give you those documents for a hearing, and Mr. Kerik has agreed he's not going to take a position one way or the other, and it looks like the Trump campaign is going to stay on the sideline as well. So you be the judge, is what the stipulation says. And why don't we hold off on sanctioning Mr. Kerik until we get all of his documents? Jack Smith is getting the byproduct of that solution at the civil court level, because he's like, I want those documents. And so 2,000 pages of those research memos, interviews, texts, and emails between Bernie Kerik and Rudy Giuliani are now going to Jack Smith. And Parlatore has brokered a deal to have Kerik come in August to give a sworn statement to Jack Smith and his team. So that's going to happen. And the new news here, the takeaway from this hot take, is that this is an entire treasure trove of documents that even the Jan 6 committee never got to see, and no prosecutor has ever seen. Not Fani Willis, right? Not the Manhattan DA, and not Jack Smith. But that changed today, once again demonstrating that at that intersection of law and politics, civil cases matter because they have discovery and other disclosure devices that can benefit the prosecutor. And that's what's happened here. Just like the suit by Dominion Voting Systems against Fox News led to a giant treasure trove of information against Fox News and against, others that could be used by Jack Smith because he's gotten a copy of it. Same thing here. And we're going to see it again in the Trump versus Michael Cohen case down in Florida, because apparently there are Stormy Daniels texts that Donald Trump that he texted with her that he doesn't want disclosed down in Florida, although he sued Michael Cohen. Civil suits pay dividends for criminal prosecutors who, like Jack Smith, who are on the ball and are waiting for that fruit to come their way. We just got that disclosure. I'm bringing it to you on this hot take. Only one place does it, the MeidasTouch Network. You knew that. You're watching me here. We pull it all together every week, twice, Wednesdays and Saturday nights. We do a podcast called Legal AF. I'm on it Wednesdays and Saturdays. And if you want to watch all my hot takes, I'm doing about 1, 2, or 6 a day at this rate. You can go over to the MeidasTouch YouTube channel, free subscribe, everything's free I'm talking about, and slide over to playlists and top contributors, and you'll see all of my hot takes listed there. You can follow me on all things social media. I'm Michael Popok at MS Popok, and this is Legal AF signing off.
Hey, Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.